Hey y'all, I'm Angie. Welcome to my channel where I do stuff. If you're new here, thank you for joining me, and if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back. In today's video, I have a DIY project that, honestly, I'm glad it's over. So, in my head, I've had this idea for a couple of years. And then if you saw my video a few weeks ago where I was walking a creek and I narrowly escaped an axe murderer, this bone that I use in this DIY came from that. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it right up here, and you can click it now and come back, or later, or not at all, your choice. But that I used the bone from that video in this DIY, and in my head I have had this thing planned for months, and then I found the right bone, and then I started work on it, and you know, for weeks I've been working on this thing, and every step of the way it went wrong. Nothing just worked right the first time. So hey, that's how it goes, right? So no big deal. I'm still very happy with how it turned out, and that's the important part. So no more talking, let's get right into it. The first step is to make sure the bone is completely clean, and as you'll see in a second, I kind of failed to do that. The next step was to cover the bone in a few coats of white gesso. Now this is acrylic, kind of like a base coat, and it's meant to seal up the cracks and keep the bone from being quite as porous. So, you probably just saw some dirt fall out. That came from a really deep crevice that I thought I had kind of power washed out. I guess not, because there was quite a bit of dirt that came from that area. Next, I painted the entire bone in Martha Stewart's vintage decor paint with a matte chalky finish, and it's in the color Lennon. I am not a huge fan of Martha Stewart, but I bought this because I got 8 ounces and it was less than $3 on clearance. The added bonus was, after the bone was painted and I took it outside, the color was absolutely perfect. Then I moved the light around in some different angles to make sure that I didn't miss any spots, and I was done. I needed a backer board, so I decided to repurpose this picture that I'd gotten from Hobby Lobby on clearance a long time ago that had been repurposed several times before this. I got trim from Lowe's that came in the perfect ratio of cheap and ornate, and I'm going to use that for the frame. The entire reason I'm going to all this trouble is because I am not going to be able to find a frame that is both cheap and gaudy that fits the shape of this bone. And if you've ever had a custom frame done, you know how expensive they are. Since I'm not willing to sacrifice on gaudy or cheap, I figured the best thing to do would be to just make one. I traced the bone and made a template to figure out how big I wanted the board to be. The repurposed picture is chipboard, so it was really easy for me to score the lines with a box cutter and then just snap the edges off. Next, I spray painted the chipboard black. I use spray adhesive to stick down the fabric to the board. I measured and used my miter box to cut the 45-degree corners for the frame, and I tried to make everything perfect, but if it's not, it's fine because I'm gilding over it, and so I can use wood filler. That's when I realized that the beading wasn't on the inside of every single piece. It was on the outside of 2 out of the 4. I got another piece of trim and started over. Then I glued the frame together, and I used a staple gun in the corners. Then I painted the frame bright gold. Gold paint is good, but fake gold leaf is better. The entire process is pretty messy, and the little pieces of gold will fly everywhere, so to keep the dogs safer, I decided to put the frame and the supplies inside a box. It didn't stick in some spots, so I am going to have to go back and do some touch-ups. Typically, gold leaf is supposed to be very smooth, and as you can see, that's not the case here, and I think I like it like this. Now, obviously, this is not real gold leaf, it's gold-colored leaf. There's a big difference, and the types of materials you can use to finish the piece is different based on the type of metal. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It really does help support my channel, and it lets me know how I'm doing. Next, I sprayed it with Krylon Color Max Clear. I stapled the back to the frame. I used face powder to mark where the bone made contact with the backing board. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials. All of the information here is in the description box below. Also, I restocked my Etsy store mostly. I've got like 10 items up, so if you're looking for a piece of genuine Texas petrified wood, check out my Etsy store and see if there's anything you want. And if not, send me a message and let me know what you're looking for. And then I used a Dremel to drill out little holes in the back of the bone. These little sections of wooden dowel are going to go through the backer board to help hold the bone in place. I ended up using both super glue and liquid nails for the wooden dowels. Then I cut the dowels short, and I used both hot glue and wood glue on popsicle sticks for extra support on the dowels. I like to use 2 different types of glue at one time because, for instance, the hot glue gives you an immediate short-term hold, and then the wood glue gives you the long-term. And here is the end result. Well, y'all, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next week when I do more stuff. Bye!